Hello, hi, welcome to my channel. Thank you for coming back. I hope you guys had a great week. And as for my week, I sure did because I finished my second book of the year, Elizabeth Berg's The Dream Lover. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and I only gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because there were parts of it that were kind of slow moving. I didn't really see the need for it to be in the story. But you know what? Other than that, the book was very, very, very beautiful. It was a very beautiful piece of writing. It opened my eyes to a few things. Elizabeth Berg's writing, for one, I definitely am going to go check out some more of her works because if she writes anything like she wrote in this book, then the books are going to flow very nicely, they're going to be smooth, and they're going to be very, very interesting and kind of a little humorous. I think there's a little bit of satire in this woman. At least George Sand has a little bit of satire, and I kind of enjoyed it. 2, George Sand, who's the protagonist in this story, is an actual author in real life. She was a prolific writer in 19th century France, contemporary with Victor Hugo. She wrote such works as Indiana and Lelia, I think is how you pronounce it. But what she wrote about was kind of an advocating women's rights of the time. She was very much an advocate, at least according to this book, that women should have equality within a marriage, that it shouldn't be all one side of a male. It should be both men and women enjoying the marriage or relationship equally. And most of this book revolves around her relationships as an adult. Now, the way this book is written is with different points of view from the same person, just at different time periods in her life. George Sand, you kind of see her grow up through this book, but it's choppy. You see a childhood moment, then you see an adult moment, then you see a childhood moment, then you see an adult moment. And these years could be corresponding 20 years apart, they could be 30 years apart, they could be 5 years apart. And that's how she kind of writes the book. And I really liked that perspective. It was a little hard getting used to it first, because when I first read it, I was like, wait a minute, what the? You were just 12 in the last scene and now you're having sex with somebody? Whoa, 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 where did the last 20 years go? Like what just happened? But once I figured out that Elizabeth Berg was doing is she was taking the adult moments and showing how what happened in her childhood correlated and affected her as an adult, using this point in time to show you that, I was like, oh, duh, light bulb, ting. That was awesome. I love the way she did it, and she did it with such a fluidity that it all blended together and you just kind of felt like you were talking to an old friend or reading like an old friend's journal, because it is also dated and things of that nature, so you see the dates of things taking place. Another thing Elizabeth Berg did in this book is she actually quoted George Sand's actual writings of her books, which I really liked. I really appreciated that, and the little excerpts that I got definitely were enough to make me want to go out and pick up a George Sand book. Now, I love classics. I am a huge fan of them. And I've never read any George Sand, so I'm kind of excited to go pick one up. And also, as I said in my previous video, I was a history major in college. My area of emphasis was French history. I studied France, mostly Mistress and Prostitutes, which I know it's very, very minor in scope of study, but I really like the idea of the unspoken woman. And her mom, holy crap, her mom was actually a prostitute. And I'm just like, whoa, why did I not read about anything about this? I never even heard of this woman in all my studies. I mean, I came across the name George Sand. I had no idea that George Sand was a chick. I was like, what? Whoa. And I'm a GWS minor, so I really feel inferior, and I feel like I need to go fix this immediately because I'm a disgrace to my degree. So I'm gonna be fixing it. I'm gonna go to Barnes & Noble or go to Amazon and pick up a George Sand book, because holy crap, and a handbasket, Batman, I really need to fix this. And also, the way Elizabeth Berg portrays George Sand's book is that she's like a hopeless romantic. She's wanting so much to find this passion and this fire in a relationship, and the whole time it's her. The whole time she's the passion and desire, and it was her writing that she needed passion and desire about, not so much relying so much on a male, or in the few instances in the book, a female. And I was just like, oh my god, I love it. I love this. It's like a self-discovery kind of story. It's like you want this undying romance and perfect relationship, and the fact of the matter is you have it already. It's with yourself. And it's awesome. And by the time you're done reading the book, you're like, oh my God, duh. It's right there in front of me. And it's awesome. I loved it. It's my door just like, I live in my apartment and it just kind of like made some noises, so it freaked me out. A little weird. Ooh. Anyway, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. I do want to read you one of the quotes from the book, because something I do since I was very little, if I like a quote in a book, I always write it down. And this is my quote journal. It says ideas. It's got a little snappy band. And there was one quote that really stuck out to me, and I really liked it because I could relate to it so well. I know that there is now and will always be something that keeps you from me completely. I will not ask you what it is, but I will tell you that I too have a certain inability to offer myself wholly. As I would never ask from you something that I am capable of not giving, I suggest that we serve as a comfort and shelter to each other, that this be our form of love. I love that quote because I've had relationships where he can't fully give himself to me and I can't fully give myself to him because there's been too much baggage in our past. And it's just really hard, but there's something about being with that person that makes you feel kind of complete, even though you're damaged goods and you have a little piece of your heart that's never going to be healed. That other person makes you feel good and overrides that little aching desire, and they have the same thing. So your two halves make a whole, and I love that concept because I can relate to it so well. I have a lot of friends that have suffered from depression, so it's not just a physical, intimate relationship like that, just friendship relationships that are like that you can never fully, wholly give yourself to somebody, but you're willing to try. And I was so endearing to know that people back then did the same thing. I love the humanist point of view of history. I love it when they bring the human aspects, because being a history major, you sit there and you read this and it's just stats and facts. But when you bring the societal norms and the humanist views and personal things, those little nuggets of gold that you find, it just makes everything so much cooler and so much more magical. And that's one of the beauty about reading historical fiction and things like that, is because it gives that humanist view to these past people that all you know is about what they did, not who they really were. And I really love it because then you find stars like George Sand. So I highly recommend this book. If you are into historical fiction, I recommend this book. If you are not a big historical fiction person and you really don't like kind of autobiographies, because it reads like it's an autobiography. It really does. It's written like it is, but it's not. If you like autobiographies or historical fiction, definitely pick this up, check it out. It's great. But if you are not historical fiction or you're just kind of treading the waters, I would not recommend this as a historical fiction book to kind of tread waters with, because if it gets a little dry at times and it kind of reads like a textbook in some points in time when she talks about some of her politics and her beliefs and stuff like that. But it's a really good read. And is it a life changer? No, I don't think it's going to change Amy's life, but it definitely opened my eyes to a new author that could be a life changer because she's, still spanning the cross of time. And it opened me up to another contemporary author. And so it was eye-opening for me in that way. So I do recommend it. Let me know if you plan on picking it up and reading it in the comments below. If you have any questions or you'd like to get in discussion with me on it, just let me know in the comments down below. And until the next time I see you guys, I hope you have a great time. And think happy, be happy, and enjoy. Bye. Mwah.